Welcome back to Smok'n Jay's Garage. I've got the pedestal and I've got the seat bottom for my seat. I'm going to show you what we're putting in place of it. You are going to like this. Come on inside. Right underneath me, I've got the Smooth Moves air seat. Check this out. How about you going over the bumps, going over the waves, just riding them on a freaking air seat. That's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to do an installation today. But I put these on my boat previously, and I'm putting them on my new boat now because I like them so much. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to put an end card up at the end of this video with the video of me actually on the water with these, if you want to check that out. Let's get into the installation though. Now because I took these out of my old boat, I don't have the directions anymore, and obviously everything is out. But what you're going to have is you're going to have the air seat right here. The compressor and everything is built right into that. You're going to have a plate, and these come in different sizes. I'm showing you, obviously, this is my 2020 242X Yamaha boat, but these will fit practically any boat. They have different size plates, and they have different hole patterns for your base. I have the ones, obviously, that I need for this boat. But they make a different size plate if you need a larger or smaller one. This is the large plate that I'm using on my Yamaha, and this is the standard base. They do have a different one. My old Yamaha had different bolt patterns. So let them know what kind of boat you have. They'll make sure that you get you with the right stuff that you need. So the first thing that we are going to do, you're also going to get a little red bag of parts and obviously the directions. The directions are quite easy to follow. But the first thing that we are going to do is pull this seat off. Now, in order to get this seat off, we are going to, on the bottom, you're probably familiar, we got to get this to turn. All right, so if we get this in the turn position, and then we can lift it right off. Kind of wiggle a little bit. And then the easiest thing, just set this right on the back here, okay? And now what we're going to do is we're going to pull the 4 bolts that hold this seat off. We're going to pull those off. Pull these 4 bolts off here. This plate is going to go in place of that. And then this plate is going to bolt onto here. These come in different heights. This is the 4 7/8. I don't know if you saw before I pulled this off that our seat with the air seat, they were about the same height. They make these, this is the shortest one they make. They make one taller if you have a higher seat. These come in several different sizes. Check their website for the measurement of the bottom of your seat, and it'll tell you what size of that you need. Smoothmovesseats.com is where you can find these. So we're going to pull this off first thing. If you have an impact, that's probably going to be the easiest. We'll get this out of the way, then we'll put this on. If you have don't have an impact, you're going to need a very large Phillips screwdriver, and if you cannot turn them, I can actually turn these by hand. If you cannot turn these by hand, you can get a wrench to fit on the end of your screwdriver, but I'm going to use the impact to pull these out because that's quicker. Once you pull this off, it's almost positively going to be dirty underneath it. If you have a vacuum cleaner handy, that's going to be helpful to you, or if you have I'm just using some Adams graphene detail spray, but any type of damp cloth, some water, whatever, while you have that off, just clean that up real nice looking like so. We got our new base in place. I'm going to zip these in with the impact, but I don't want to go down all the way because I want to be able to feel with my screwdriver how tight they are. I don't want to risk stripping them. And then here I like to just get them in there tight by hand. That way I can feel how tight they are. We're going to reuse these screws to screw the new base plate on. And then the base plate is going to screw onto this. The existing screws that they come with, these are 7/16. So you'll need a 7/16 inch socket or box end. I find a socket to be easier. Depending on what your bolts are here, mine are 3/8. So we're going to pull out these 4 bolts that hold this in. All right, once you get all 4 of these bolts out, you're going to set this plate aside because this you are not going to use along with your old pedestal. Save those maybe if you sell your boat or whatever. But but you will not need those again. We are going to take our base plate with the nipple facing down. That is what is going to bolt onto our new one. And I already know because I did the other side. For me, I'm going to use my 2 inside holes. Depending on where your seats are, you may need to use a different set of holes or even their different plate that they do have. So I'm going to get these started. I'm going to get all 4 of them started, and then I'll just center this where I want it to be. Actually, I'll probably line it up with where I put my other one. On the other side, I've got the bolster that lifts up, and so I just went right to the top of that bolster, and it came very close to the bottom here. So I'll try to line up the bottom in the same place my other one was, just so that my seat is the same way as it was before. If you are wondering, this will retain all of your factory options as far as swiveling and sliding back and forth. All of those options will be retained, and I will show you how that works in a minute. On my other side, because these are slotted, you do get a little bit of play back and forth, and I think that I got mine just a tiny bit crooked, and I don't like that. So I'm going to try to get this one perfectly straight once I get it all tightened up. Get these snug, but make sure that you don't strip them, because you've got probably metal inside of your seat, but then that seat is probably plastic, okay? So we got that all hooked on. Move my vacuum cleaner out of the way here. And I'm going to show you what this does while it's off here and you can see it. If you need to pull this off of your seat, you've got to pull this out. That's going to retain so that this does not come off of your base. So if you ever want to pull that off, you just do that, obviously. This is going to loosen up so that you can swivel and down, because this is upside down right now. So facing up, which is in the down position right now, that is going to allow this to swivel. And when we push it in the down position, which that's up right now, but it's upside down, that's going to lock it into place, and then you can tighten this back up if you want. So I'm going to go ahead and set this right on. Make sure that you put, let me show you the button. Make sure that you put the button in the front. That's how you're going to air it up. You're going to add and release the air like that. So make sure that that is in the front. And then this is just going to set right on. There we go. Just like so. Now I'm going to move the cord out of the way here. Now what we're going to do here, as you can see, at least on my base, there's several different holes here. This is going to be your lever to slide your seat forward and back. On my seat, I'm going to use this solid hole, not the slotted one. I'm going to use these 2 solid holes and then these 2 slotted ones in the back. I'm going to go ahead and put these 2 bolts on. I'll show you how to do it, but I'm going to tell you first because it's easier to see. So this one is loose right now. I've just got it zip tied on there. So you're going to want to pull this forward, and then we'll break off this zip tie. We are going to go ahead and put... break off that zip tie. Now this one is just loose, okay? It's just going to slide. It's not going to line up and be stopped until it's bolted onto your seat. So we're going to bolt these 2 on, not tight. Then we're going to slide this backwards so we can get to the back side. We're going to put it, I know on my seat it's going to be in these 2. And then we're going to leave all 4 of those bolts loose. We're going to slide the seat back and forth several times to make sure that these line up so you don't have any binding. Then we're going to go back and we're going to tighten all 4 of them up. So for right now, it's going to probably be the easiest. Might be able to see here. I'm going to set my seat right on top. And I'm not sure how much of a view you're going to be able to get of this because I'm going to be half underneath, but I will do my best to show you. All right, let's see if you can, I don't know if you can see that or not. Right underneath here, I'll just wiggle this a little bit until I can get my bolts started. And I'm just going to start my front 2, and then I will not snug those up. So these 2 screws right here are the ones we just put in. We left those loose. We're going to go ahead and we're going to slide this back to give us access to the back screws now. All right, we slid these to the back so that we can reach them. Again, they are not tight. Now we are going to go ahead, and find it easier if you lock the seat into place. So we're going to lock the seat into place. And now we're going to grab our lever here, and we're going to slide this back and forth several times just to make sure that those tracks lined up good, which everything's sliding very nicely. It looks like it did. So I am going to, now we're going to go back, we're going to tighten those 4 up. So I've got the seat forward now so that we can get access to the front ones, and then we'll slide the seat back so that we can get access to the rear ones. Now, just like before, our seat will slide back and forth. It's actually easier if it swivels. It locks into place. And it's easier to slide it back and forth if it is locked into place. There we go. And I might have a little bit of binding on there. I think that, oh, there we go. All right, so we'll put this where we want it. I was not entirely happy with the way that slid. I loosened up those 4 bolts. I ran it a few more times and then tightened them back up, and you can see now we slide back and forth. I must have had a little bit of binding on there. Slides back and forth very nicely now. Swivels and locks into place. So all there is to do now is to plug it in, and let's see it air up, all right? All right, this just plugs into our cigarette lighter to air it up. I'm gonna hold that button in. See it starting to rise. And I'm not gonna put too much in because I want you to see it bounce, but obviously the rougher it is, the more, whoa, the more that you're gonna want it to bounce. Air it up a little bit more. See it lifting up with my weight a little bit. Got some nice bouncing action to it. And then if you pull this lever, it's gonna go ahead and let the air out. So what I like to do, since plugging it in all the time is a little bit of an inconvenience. These can be hardwired though. I never took the time to do it. But I like to air it up, you know, real good. And then, oh, it's not really bouncing a whole lot right now. And then as I start going a little bit, I'm like, yeah, that's a little bit too stiff. Get a little shot of air, a little release of air. Until I feel like, oh yeah, that's a nice ride. These really do give a nice ride, in my opinion. So, hopefully that's helpful to you. Don't forget, I've got an end card right here for the video of me on the water with these in my old boat. If you want more footage, let me know. We'll do a video of them in the new boat as well. But if you're watching this channel for the first time and you haven't already, and you want to, boom, please subscribe.